Welcome back to Outriders. In this video I want to talk to you about the latest news regarding this game. This comes as Tuesday news from the developers on Twitter and is a very short and sweet point, so I would like to go through something else with you that relates to this update that's coming up. They simply said, we are hoping to release our damage mitigation patch this Thursday. We are hoping to. That's May 20th, but this will only be confirmed once it successfully passes through final testing. If you click on the link, it takes you to Reddit, and it says that they are primarily addressing damage mitigation. The patch will additionally include crash fixes as well as added telemetry to help them diagnose currently outstanding sign-in issues that might remain after the patch release. They are also still working on the player appreciation package. At this point, they can just forget the appreciation package. We haven't been appreciated. The package doesn't make sense. And I can guarantee that package is going to contain nothing other than what we already have. Probably a cannonball set. Not even a set. I shouldn't have said set. Probably a cannonball piece. And that's for every player, because some players seem to get stuff like legendary gear for other characters and not the one they're actually playing as. So they are hoping to release it on May 20th, and the very first time they acknowledged it was May 5th. They also stated on the 5th of May, when they said that they are aware and they're working on a fix, that they had known about it before. So this is currently 13 days it's taken for them to give us news that this will be releasing in 2 days' time. So that is 15 days in total, if they get it right, that they will release it. 15 days after they started looking into it. But they knew about it beforehand. Then what we're going to do is take a little look at why it takes so long. This is actually posted, or was posted, by one of the community managers on Reddit. And this is why it actually takes them so long to get patches out. Bear in mind, 15 days after acknowledging it, if it successfully goes through on the 20th, and they knew about it beforehand. So here's a timeline to help explain why these patches take so long. In this case, we identified what we believed was the root cause of the issue on the 7th of May. So they knew about it on the 5th, but they found the cause of the bug on the 7th. Then the community was updated. Bear that in mind as you then work through the process below. Once an issue fix has been identified, it needs to be software compiled into a build. So all game files need to be pulled into a proper build, not just loose files, that can take a few hours, perhaps half a day. That build is then smoke tested on site, which also takes time, so you add half a day onto that. When they say smoke tested, it is basically programming terminology, and I'm just going to basically say their smoke testing is to make sure that the smoke machines are actually working with their posts, so they can blow all the smoke in players' faces, and they just cover up all of the bullshit. Because there's no way, even with this process, that this is acceptable. But let's just say you take half a day for them to compile all the software into a build. Add the half a day on for the smoke testing, so that's 1 day. Once it's gone through the smoke test, it needs to be uploaded and sent to their wider QA teams. That upload can take a while, since the build is tens of gigs in size, add on a few hours, so that's 1 day and a few hours. The wider QA teams that we've placed throughout the globe then download it, again taking a little bit of time due to its size, add on a few hours. So that's 1 day and a few hours times 2. So we'll say 1 day, 6 hours. Then the QA teams need to get to work testing as many aspects of the game as possible, and it's not always just a case of checking that the bug in particular has been regressed. The QA process also can, depending on the changes made, involve testers replaying the entire game start to finish, either including only the main storyline or checking all side quests and similar as well, across all different platforms and playstyle variations, add on a number of days. So my number, going to say 3 days. So there's currently, 4 days, 6 hours? Bear in mind that the Outriders team is comprised of people working in multiple time zones, so if one task in a certain time zone finishes late on a day, it can impact when the next team in the process gets to it, example the next day. So that's now we're at 5 days, 6 hours? Finally, add on top of this the submissions with first parties, which can, depending on the project status, differ between being able to be passed rapidly or may need to go through additional checks, which can by themselves also add on a few, up to 4 days. So that's 9 days, 6 hours. Then we need to consider the ideal release time, either Tuesday or Thursday. I'm pretty sure some of their previous patches have dropped on a Friday. This all can of course only be kicked off once a particular issue has been identified and reproduced on our side, and that adds time to the front of this process. And it all assumes that all testing is passing flawlessly and that the testing identifies the problem as fixed and doesn't find other new issues. Hopefully this helps make clear that code testing isn't something that can be turned around at the drop of a hat, mainly because of practical realities. And then someone just says this sort of communication would have gone a long way in calming outrage. It fucking wouldn't. Because they've just said roughly 10 days plus is how long it takes to sort all this stuff out. So, with the nerfs that dropped a week after the release of this game, and yes, some of you would have known that one was coming, they would have been testing those nerfs before the game even released. It also took them a month to fix the inventory wipe issue. The reason that come into the game is because of the nerfs they did. That patch where they nerfed Chemplant and Boomtown timers, that patch where they nerfed all the different special bullets and stuff, that caused the inventory wipes, that patch. Every single patch they have released so far to date has made the game in some way even worse. Mods can now stack. More mods are broken. Skills for character classes are broken. Damage mitigation is broken. Players are losing their stuff all over again. This is not acceptable to say that it goes through these 75,000 different processes to make sure this patch is working, with all of our wider QA teams that are set out across the globe that work on different time zones, because nothing ever gets thoroughly fixed. They could definitely streamline this process, they could make it a lot faster, that's a 100% they could do that. But they decide with these patches that fix things that are having a negative effect on players, they decide to go through all of this quality assurance, but when it comes to their back-end changes, they can do them instantly. As soon as emergency stance is bugged and it helps players through expeditions, that's instantly fixed in the next patch. Yet sign-in issues, they've had to create this whole new sort of system so that they can help see them, because they've stated themselves that's probably going to continue after this patch. They've known for over a month now that sign-in has been an issue because it absolutely plagued the players on PlayStation. It's now fucking up the players on Xbox. They fixed it for PlayStation, just roll out the same fix for Xbox. If you found a fix for PlayStation, implement that same fix for Xbox players on their platform. And yeah, I know some of you in the comments are going, it might not be that easy, it might take them a little bit longer than that. I don't care. This game has been out for 7 weeks, and there are still game-breaking issues. Crossplay. They stated crossplay was going into a fully released feature when they launched the game. That fucker's still in beta. Crossplay doesn't work properly. As people have been mentioning in the comments, there is no game chat in this fully released game. This group-based game has no game chat. As I've said, things are still going missing from inventories. People are having the rarity of their gear changed. There are still people kicked before they grab their loot at the end of an expedition. There are still people playing as Devastator being kicked. This game has so many technical issues, and these developers work so fucking slow. I've seen snails work faster than these devs. I've seen turtles work faster than these fucking developers. They don't need to send it to a million different QA teams in different time zones across the world, because the QA teams don't do their job. They don't make sure all this stuff works. They can't. There's no way they can do it because there are so many things broken. And even if they do find stuff that's broken and pass it back on to the devs, that's just going to make it take even longer to fix. There is no quality put into this game at all. There never has been, there probably never will be. But I have a strong feeling, next month when it hits June and we've got E3, I've got a strong feeling there's going to be a DLC announcement. Something like that. They would have been working on the sidelines with their other teams and stuff across the world, across the globe. They would have been working on some DLC. Either that, or as some people have mentioned, we've got skeleton crews working on this game, because they do have 2 other projects they are currently working on. 2 other AAA games or big games or whatever that they have to build from the ground up that are set to be released within the next 3 years. 2 games in 3 years. This one supposedly took 5. How the fuck are they releasing 2 games in 3 years' time if this one took 5? That's an update on their damage mitigation. That's also the thread of their process of doing these patches. I guarantee if something come into the game to give every single player a huge amount of damage, so we'll say 500 million damage across all platforms, that would be fixed instantly. And I can tell you that because when they released their patch, they had an issue where armor was dropping with 28,000 armor rating per piece. The god roll in the game is like 11.3. So they had armor that was dropping that was 3 times, almost 3 times better than what was supposed to drop. What did they do? Maintenance. Fixed it instantly. No QA testing, no nothing like that. They got that fixed in a maintenance half an hour later. This team sits on fucking lies. They lie time and time again. There's another couple of things I'm going to be doing separate videos about, talking to you about, like how the developers have stated they know players don't have 300 hours to grind for the same piece of gear. Why the fuck is that a system in the game? I'm going to leave the rest of that for another video. That was literally just sneak peek, teaser, call it what you want. I'm going to leave the video there. I'm absolutely fuming with this dev team. Players are still dropping daily. This game has the potential, has the foundation there. These developers are just so incompetent. It's unbelievable. But I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.